All right, guys, this deck I've been testing, this Oswald Items deck, and I think it's pretty bonkers. I don't know if it's going to be as competitive as maybe I'd like it to be, but it is definitely competitive because there's not really any defense, not really any removal, but this deck has so many kill on sight cards, and it can just turn 6, 7, just win the game in one go. It can quest for 14 to 20 to 30, like pretty consistently. Right now the only new card in it is this Oswald card, since the new set isn't even out yet. But this Oswald card is absolutely bonkers. You just get so much insane value off of it, and as long as you don't play it turn 2, you basically get instant value on it, because you'll play it first and then ink, and then you'll get to use its ability. Pretty much a good portion of the cards in this deck have abilities that you can resolve the turn they land, which, as we know in Lorcana, is kind of king. So I'm just going to go through it here. So 4 Oswalds. Another important thing to note is that this is a hidden Inkcaster deck, which, kind of feeds into the item theme. There are like close to 30 items in here, and there's also close to 30 uninkables. So this deck does not work without the hidden Inkcaster, and that's one of the main reasons that it's the blue is paired with the emerald, because this is the only way to cram a ton of uninkables into a deck, as of now at least. So the Chicha is another thing. If they don't kill on sight, you're going to get so much value out of it. Basically, you're dumping cards into your Inkwell in this deck with Bell and Fishbone Quill and a Great Stone Dragon. So Chicha is just going to replace so many cards that you use to ramp. Obviously, we got our Fishbones. Our Popsicles. The Obscurasphere is the other one drop. This is another big reason to be in this deck, or be Emerald in this deck paired with blue, just because there's a few cards that we really want. Well, actually, there's a lot of situations where you're going to want to use Obscurasphere, even if you use it turn 4 to protect say a Chicha and a Oswald. But this deck also runs the Aerial Who's It Collector, which doesn't do anything when it lands, but you can keep it alive for a turn with the Obscurasphere, which gives ward to all of your characters. The Queen is actually, obviously in an item deck, this is great, but it's honestly one of the weakest cards in the deck, in my opinion, just because you get nothing out of it when it lands. However, it is inkable, it is 3/3, and if they're using removal on this card, it's fine. And if it lives to the next turn, you're just going to go to Value Town with it. So doing 2 Emerald Chromicons, basically just to cheat them out with the Oswalds or the Queens. And then it gives you a little bit of protection when they start swinging into your characters, so you can have a little bit of tempo. 1 Stone Dragon. They're going to start killing your Oswalds and your cheap critters, and it's nice just to use those out of the graveyard to get a little ink later. But I'm only running 1 of these as of now. All right, so Medal of Hero, 4 of these. They're inkable, which is great. But also, this is a big combo piece with, you can use this on any of your things to get you over the finish line. But it's really designed to combo with the Aerial. I'm just going to pull the Aerial out right now. So you can go up to 4 of these. I'm doing 3 right now because a lot of times you just need 1. You just need to draw 1 turn 6 or 7, 5, 6, or 7 for it to do its thing. But this card's crazy, and if you hit Medal of Heroes on her, she can just quest for like 15, 20, 25, 30, it can actually be insane in this deck. She's incredible in this deck. And it's one of those things where, like, yeah, they need to kill it on sight, but you can use Obscura Sphere to protect it, or you know, if they're killing this on site, they're not killing your other things that are doing like a lot of value, getting you a lot of value, so it's okay. There's too many targets in this deck for them, they have to pick. This is pretty self-explanatory. You can treat it out with Queen, you can treat it out with Oswald, and of course you use it to make the Chicha trigger go off and just to ramp. 2 Maurice's Workshop, very self-explanatory, cheats out with the Queen, and it's going to be a draw engine. This deck draws so many cards, it's actually crazy. Tomato, self-explanatory. All right, the Bells are really I was playing this deck and without Bell, and then I realized Bell was like the big missing key factor here, because Bell, 1, you can dime her. 2, you're going to have 10 ink so easy in this deck, so she's just going to be a huge quest threat. And also, she's dumping cards into your inkwell, so she's your ramp. And if you have a Chicha out, you're drawing cards off of Bell. So it's incredible. This deck, I actually went up to 3 lucky dimes, okay? This card can get cheated out on Oswald relatively easy. So, like, imagine cheating this out turn 3 with Oswald. Just imagine that. Obviously, you're going to have a ton of good targets also to hit it with. And another thing about this is if you crack the, let's see. If you crack the Medal of Heroes, right? I mean, just think about that. Cracking the Medal of Heroes on something big and then hitting the dime with it, you know? All right, Aurora, this card isn't... It's a little under the radar right now, but basically, imagine this deck will cheat out like 1 million items, and then you get a scry off of every item you have. So you're basically just using this to set up your combos, and not to mention, she works as soon as she lands, you know? You can use her Royal Inventory abilities as soon as she lands to be setting up your kill plays. Also, she makes it so that your opponent can't target your items, which is obviously important in an item deck. Hiram, you know, Hiram I was thinking about taking out just because you don't want to blow up items in an item deck, and this deck already has so much draw power, but of course it's Hiram and he's just too good to cut, so right now he's in. And then the big boy, the Sheriff of Nottingham. This card will come out for free often, or 1 or 2. You know, you can get this card out turn 4 or 5 for, you know, 4 or 5 ink, or you can get it out turn 5 or 6 for free, depending on what's going on. And then this is an insane target for your lucky dime, not to mention has support. So this Oswald deck is going to be, I don't know if it'll be meta, but it is insane, and it can beat any deck. And it is just a blast to play because there's just so many triggers and interactions in this deck that are so fun. Yeah, it's kind of, Oswald's kind of the thing that's really setting this kind of archetype off, in my opinion. So I would snag these at the beginning when they're cheap, because I don't see a way they don't go up in price. All right, I'm going to make some gameplay videos and post them soon so y'all can see what it does. All right, let me know what you think.